Good morning, good afternoon, guys. We're back for another Geek Tavern. It's me, Sean, and as always, I'm joined by Mike.
Yo.
And Aaron.
I'm Batman.
And both Batman just have the same voice as Bruce Wayne in these ones. Huh. Okay.
Yeah, they really don't try to mask it, do they?
Val Kilmer mask it a little bit more.
Yeah, George Clooney doesn't. But
George Clooney, I mean Batman.
That'll come a little bit later. To hop right into things, I guess. Aaron and I had the opportunity to see The Empire Strikes Back in theaters, which was good.
It was good. Not as good as seeing Jurassic Park.
No, I agree. I think Jurassic Park was really something else to behold in the movie theater.
But it was a nice experience to watch one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
I'm glad that I'll be able to say that
on the big screen.
Was able to see it. Anyway.
The real question is, what version was it?
The nonsense versions.
It was the one where they spliced Ian McDiarmid into the hologram.
So
the one where Ian McDiarmid was clearly just phoning it in. Like, he was sitting in the makeup chair and George just stuck a camera in front of him and he's just like, eh.
Yeah.
So the 97...
Actually, it was the 2005 edition because they shot Ian while they were doing Revenge of the Sith, and then spliced it out.
Oh yeah, we watched A New Hope to get ready for this as well to see it in the theaters.
That's right.
And then after that, we watched Coco.
Yeah, I had never seen Coco. Coco was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good.
Sean and I also watched Clue.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, within the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
pretty good movie. I recommend
highly
that.
Recommend it. It's very funny. I've also watched an incredible amount of things. I've watched pretty much the entirety of the Teen Titans show on HBO Max. I discovered this documentary series, which was very fascinating to me. It's like 8 episodes, an hour long a piece, and it's about how, if you remember those Monopoly McDonald's games back in the day, they were basically rigged from the start.
Okay.
So, like, people were, like, buying the tickets and selling them, like, literally, like, mafia entanglement. Like, it was completely...
Entanglement,
yes. Entanglement, yeah.
People still do that.
Yeah.
Really?
I was just like... It was very well made and engaging.
This is on HBO Max?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's called McMillions.
I'm going to have to check it out.
I highly recommend it.
As a kid, not just that sweepstakes in particular, but any sweepstakes, I'm like, we never hear about the winner. Like,
no.
Are any of these real? You know?
Yeah, I
still do that.
I told my dad about that, and he's like, "Oh, I always knew that those were rigged or whatever." And I was like, "Well, I mean, I always had faith that they were real, but in this particular,
I wanted to have faith, but like,
remember sweepstakes? Like, they don't do those very often.
No, not really anymore.
Like, they used to.
It's been a while since they've done one at McDonald's.
Yeah, and like in the early 2000s. Like, I remember like Nickelodeon used to do them all the time. Like, I remember there was one that I entered in one time because it was it was some Star Wars one. It was like when Revenge of the Sith came out, and you could like go to the website and like take a quiz or something, and you were entered in to win like the whole lot of Revenge of the Sith like figures and stuff.
Oh wow!
Yeah, but you never heard who won them,
right? Yeah.
So
where's it at?
Well, Tony Hawk was like the sponsor guy for it, and I was like, does he just have those locked away in his basement somewhere, like first editions, and he has in a chest?
Wouldn't surprise me.
It's his revenge now that the world forgot him.
No, he's still. I mean, he's not as prominent as he once was, but
I think he is now getting back into the
because with the resurgence of his game. I forget what I was going to say something. I forget totally.
About anything that you watched?
No, it was about something else. But anyway.
The sweepstakes?
Yeah, I don't remember.
all right. It's gone.
It's gone.
Well, it'll come back.
I haven't watched like a ton. I've been watching a few Doctor Who episodes here and there. Got really sucked in today. Very good David Tennant one. I watched a little bit of Harley Quinn again, or Birds of Prey.
Yeah, with that nonsense title.
With I'm not even going to try to say that.
Zack Snyder's Birds of Prey, Dawn of Harley Quinn, or
1984. So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't really watched a ton, so it's been crazy couple weeks.
There it's funnily enough, we weren't able to get these versions on HBO Max, even though they were just recently on them. But they're moving a ton of like the DC universe, like that streaming service.
They should just
they're basically just merging them, because that Harley Quinn show is going to be on it. Swamp Thing is going to be on HBO Max, and all other kinds of stuff is being
Titans
moved
already on there? Like the Titans show.
I think that's another one that's being added to it, but it's just like,
I've heard it's not great, but I kind of want to check it out.
At that point, they're basically just merging the two things, which was okay. They could have done it. They could have not removed.
Well, their DC selection was kind of lacking, even with the Batman films.
Right.
It was still kind of lacking on the DC side.
And even then, they didn't have the two that we're going to talk about on HBO Max for some reason.
They had it for like a week.
Yeah, and then they got rid of it.
I was going to say, I think all 4 of them were on there at one time when I looked.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, that's a Warner Brothers property. Why would you just all of a sudden get rid of that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it something with Joel Schumacher's estate?
Oh, maybe.
It could be.
It could be.
Like, since he
died,
like,
through. Yeah.
That could be. Maybe it's in, like...
But do directors have any sort of, like, legal...
I'm sure there's some type of intellectual property type of thing connected to it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's,
especially if he was a producer on it.
Right. Okay. Well, producer was...
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton.
Those, yeah. I mean, if he was like an executive producer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? You may never know.
Probably not.
But
too much digging for that one.
Yeah.
I rewatched Days of Future Past on Disney Plus.
You know what? I did turn that on too.
I have to say, the first time I watched that, I was kind of the mindset, like, I had heard that it's confusing, like, as to, like, they don't explain how characters show up or how some characters come back, and you're just like, huh?
There's a different version.
Yes, I've heard about the different version.
I own it.
If you want to. I definitely want to watch the different version. But watching this a second time, I really liked it. I didn't care much for it the first time I watched it. And then the second time, I was like, you know what? I was like, this is actually really good.
I think it's right under Logan for me, actually.
I would probably still put Logan First Class, then Days of Future Past. But Days of Future Past is like right under First Class.
It's been many years since I've seen First Class, and I should probably watch it again because
I like First
might
Class.
Feel differently.
It's
I know it's good, but I just
every time I watch Days of Future Past, it keeps getting closer and closer to First Class, though.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like it's a good.
It's very good. There's only one complaint that I have with like the whole X-Men, those movies as a whole. Well, actually, just all of them in general.
It's Bryan Singer.
Well, yes, but also, because it falls on to him because he can never make up his mind how old Stryker is.
Right.
Stryker is a different age in every movie, and it's like he jumps like 10 years in age from one year to the next.
Yeah.
Like in First Class, he's like 60-something. And then in Days of Future Past, which is 10 years after, he's like 30.
Yeah.
And then in Wolverine, he's like 40. And I'm like, what? I'm like, it's Weapon X is like 2 years after this. I'm like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in X2, he's played by Brian Cox, who is like 50 or something like that.
Right.
You're like, what?
See, that's my least favorite version of him.
Oh, yeah. But like, that's my only complaint. Everything else I really enjoyed about that movie. I think everybody was good.
Well, you'll be happy to know that they just put on Apocalypse.
Oh, I have to watch that one. I'm not looking forward to that, but I have to watch that. I also rewatched.
I only watched it once. I don't remember anything.
I've never even watched like 1 minute of it, so I'm going in fresh into it. But
the only good thing is there's a Metallica song in it. I won't spoil it because it's part of the movie. Is it
one of the Quicksilver
No.
things? Oh, okay.
No.
I also rewatched Starship Troopers again, just because that movie's great.
I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
That's a pretty good movie. It's on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
So you can watch it on there. I watched Total Recall, the Schwarzenegger version.
See, we were talking about
I kind of had a Paul Verhoeven marathon because last night I watched the Blu-ray of RoboCop that you gave me.
Okay.
So I kind of had a Paul Verhoeven. The only one I didn't watch was Showgirls.
Yeah.
So
shame that one.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the Schwarzenegger version. I first and only seen the
the Colin Farrell one.
Colin Farrell.
Okay, that's a Total Recall.
And the only reason I watched it was because I watched the Colin Farrell remake of Fright Night.
Oh, that's a good movie. I like that one a lot.
I like
Antoine
that.
Yelchin's in there. Yeah, I
David
really
Tennant
like
from
that.
Doctor Who.
Yeah, that's right. I actually really enjoyed that movie.
I did too. I need to buy that one.
I knew it was a remake.
Oh, wow.
And
I never even went back to the original for that.
No,
you can't top that.
No, I didn't either. Like I just watched it and I was like, that was great.
It's one of those.
Like remakes. I just remember so much about I could watch a movie like that, like a remake of a horror movie, and I could watch it, and then 10 minutes later you could ask me what happened. And I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But like Fright Night, I remember a lot about because it was really well done.
It's been a good probably 6 years since I've seen it, and I only watched the one, so I have a hard time remembering anything anyway. But
yeah, I kind of had myself a Paul Verhoeven marathon, and Total Recall with Schwarzenegger is on Netflix too. So
I saw
watch that one.
I saw that.
I recommend that. It's a very good watch.
Yeah.
You reminded me. I sat down and watched the 3-hour trek that is Hamilton. On Disney Plus.
That's right.
It's very good, but it is 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Like it's something that I feel like you should watch with other people. Like have on in the background or something.
Like The Godfather.
Yeah, because it is fucking long.
Yeah, the last time I had to do that was pretty recently with King Kong.
Yeah. Or Godzilla. Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
It was a very long movie.
Yeah,
too.
Subjecting each other to these.
It wasn't quite as long as King Kong though, right?
King Kong was longer.
Yeah, King Kong was
like a legit
an hour and a half longer.
It's a fucking long movie.
It actually wasn't bad though.
No.
But anyway.
No.
Listen to that podcast.
But I think that's everything that I really watched.
All right. We have any news we want to get to?
We have solemn news.
Yeah.
2 bits of solemn news.
It's kind of ironic. We had just finished our conversation about Ennio Morricone, and the next day he died.
Yeah,
That
was quite. That was quite odd.
Yeah,
we had literally just talked about him. I'm not saying we're angels of death or anything. Speak their name and they die, but
just be like impossible not to talk about him. He's so influential.
Yeah,
in filmmaking.
I'm not.
He scored one of my all-time favorite movies, and that score is just incredible for John Carpenter's The Thing. Just absolutely incredible. He captured that. In fact, with that whole movie, I think if it had a different score, I don't think that it would be as impactful.
Right.
But it's Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I mean, he did countless scores that were just incredible.
Yeah,
he
mainly westerns.
Recently did The Hateful Eight, and I don't think he had done any other movies for a couple years until Tarantino asked him to score The Hateful Eight.
Yeah, he's a legend, and he won life anyway. He's like 93.
Yeah,
when people are that age and it's always unfortunate when somebody passes away, but when you hit that age, I mean, what more can you ask for?
I mean, like the year before Stan died, everybody was kind of like, it's coming, Like I mean,
I was on that boat for like 5 years. Yeah. I'm like, well, it's going to happen one of these days, and it's going to suck, but it's going to happen. When's the last cameo? You know?
Unfortunately, whenever someone's life is cut short, in our next instance of unfortunate news with Grant Imahara's passing, he wasn't even 50 years old. He was only 49.
Wow.
It's a real shame.
He's only 19 years older than me.
It's a big
That's
shame.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What
he had a brain aneurysm.
All right.
So
yeah.
He only got married like 4 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it's sad news to be sure.
Yeah,
he was also very just being a part of the Mythbusters and working with he was an electrical engineer that worked on the Star Wars prequel movies.
He worked for ILM, so
he
did a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, all kinds of things. He would work as a stand-in for C-3PO sometimes when Anthony Daniels couldn't show up.
Oh wow!
So yeah,
when Anthony Daniels was too busy kicking Kenny Baker in the shins.
Yeah,
that was our solemn news.
Yeah.
Now more solemn news. We get to review the two Schumacher Batman movies.
Yeah, a little disrespectful segue that one, but
may he rest in peace.
I couldn't actually tell you another movie that he did.
Did he do any other movies?
Let's just
those literally when you say Joel Schumacher, I'm like, oh, Batman.
Yeah,
I'm like,
are you looking that up?
Yeah, I'll look up.
Okay, I was gonna get the synopsis of Batman Forever.
Phantom of the Opera.
Oh,
he directed a couple of episodes of House of Cards. That's a pretty good TV show.
Did he have slide whistles in those too? And goofy clown scoring by Elliot Goldenthal.
Yeah, that was interesting to say the least. But that's anybody would recognize as those things. So, yeah.
All right. Well, the first, I guess I'll take the reins for this because they're my suggestions. So the first of my picks, well, obviously they're both the Batman, Joel Schumacher movies, but Batman Forever came out in 1995 with Val Kilmer playing Batman. The synopsis is Batman faces off against two foes. The schizophrenic, horribly scarred former district attorney Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face, played by Tommy Lee Jones, and the Riddler, played by Jim Carrey. A disgruntled ex-Wayne Enterprise inventor seeking revenge against his former employer by unleashing his brain-sucking weapon on Gotham City. And the Cave Crusaders, they do their stuff. So yeah, I like this film.
You know what? I can't decide which one I like more.
Really?
Yeah. Because they both okay, let me just say this.
Yeah, I don't know where we want to start.
I feel like Joel Schumacher watched so much of the Adam West Batman when he was younger. He's like, I want to make that, but on a big screen. And everybody's like,
yeah.
You don't want to make it like a little grittier or anything like that. And he's like, nope, slide whistles and all.
I think that, Tim Burton's movies were the first instance of it being like, oh, Batman can be serious.
Yes. Tim Burton.
Or not even just Batman, any superhero could be serious.
Because everybody else has been like goofy. I mean, X-Men kind of, but like Spider-Man and all that, goofy. But
you got to think at the time, what did we have? Maybe Superman?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had Richard Donner's Superman. And that was it, essentially.
Basically, with the exception of those very terrible Marvel movies like Captain America, which was around the same time, so it wasn't even out yet. For Tim Burton's Batman.
But yeah, his is just so... The second one more so clowny than the first, but
But I mean, you're dealing with at that point you are dealing with circus type of stuff.
Yeah.
But they're both dark and gritty, which is a contrast to what these two movies are. And I'm not saying that they're not fun. They're very fun, but the way Burton did it was very dark and gritty, and it was well executed. And these are still executed well, but they have their problems.
Oh yeah, lots of problems.
We'll dive into that a little bit.
Well, I guess I'll just say, I mean, for this movie, I thought that it was good.
Yeah, it was fine.
I had a good time watching it, but the lighting was giving me a headache.
Oh.
Like, it is like so... I don't know if Gotham just looks so weird in these movies. It's like these like harsh reds, but they're like muted, and there's like no light. Like there's scenes where the Riddler and Two-Face are just talking to each other, and you can't see because there's like blinding light on one side and like complete darkness on the other. It's just like my brain is like falling apart trying to comprehend what I'm seeing.
Are you watching them in the dark?
No.
Okay. Because I never experienced that. I'm not saying you're wrong, obviously.
Yeah, but some of the colors were just like, I don't know if it was too much for me, but the lighting was just like,
Yeah.
It was actually like making my head.
They're a lot more colorful than Tim Burton's.
Yes.
Like they use the hell out of color in any scene that he can do.
One of my favorite parts, speaking of Keller, is when Dick Grayson takes the Batmobile out and he fights those
that
the neon
scene,
people.
That's a great,
and they recur.
I just love the look of that.
Yeah,
they're recurring characters too.
Yeah, they come back in the next
the next one. I'll say this: Tommy Lee Jones is a better Joker than Two-Face.
See, and that's what a lot of people say.
They both did fine with what they were given, but Tommy Lee Jones acts more like the Joker than Two-Face. He has his one-liners, he has his laugh and everything, and like he just came across to me as the Joker.
I mean, I see what people are saying when they say that, but obviously, he does the whole. He kind of sounds like Venom. He's like, we.
Yeah, I do like it whenever he says we and us and all that.
Yeah.
But he is very much like the Joker. There's one scene at the very end that I was like, if he would have just done it like this the whole time, he would have been so much better. It's whenever he's about to kill Bruce and everyone because they're hanging off the edge or whatever, and he's like, oh, it's the end of the line for you. And Batman's like, oh, what about your coin, Harvey? You know, don't you leave it up to that? And he goes, oh, that's right. Thank you, Batman. Or he calls him Bruce. He calls him Bruce. Yeah. Oh, because they know by that point. He's like, thank you, Bruce. You've always been a great friend to me, and I adore you much. And then he flips his coin. It's like if he would have been literally like half Harvey Dent and half Two-Face, like in that scene, it would have been so much better. But the whole time,
because the whole time he's just goofy and over the top,
such a clown.
And you just get Joker vibes because he's not because. With Two-Face, he's got two different psyches.
Yeah.
And you see them play out with each other, but he doesn't do that enough.
Yeah. You've basically opened the door, because I never looked at it that way. Like, we don't see the Harvey Dent side.
No, it's almost always the Two-Face side.
Right.
And it's just, like, that scene, I remember watching that scene, and then whenever that happened, I was like, oh, that was so good!
Yeah.
Why wasn't it like that the rest of the time?
Yeah. I never thought of it like that. I don't think it really impacts my nostalgia goggles that I have for this movie. But yeah, that's a very, very good point.
This was my favorite of the two when I was younger. I love
this was my favorite of the four when I was younger.
See, I think I like Batman Returns a lot.
See, that's
like out of the four. And it's not even like Danny DeVito as the Penguin. It's just like everything, all encompassing. Like Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, great. Michael Keaton as Batman, great. Danny DeVito as the Penguin, horrifyingly great.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But like, there's just something about that movie and the way that it plays out. But anyway, I want to get back to this. The thing that made me love this movie when I was younger was Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
Yeah.
Because he was just great. Like, I mean, I'm a fan of Jim Carrey, so seeing him take on a role like this, I was like, he's perfect for it.
This was quite possibly my introduction to Jim Carrey.
Oh, yeah?
Because I can't think of another movie that I probably saw before this one.
Yeah. And I mean, he's over the top, too. He's definitely over the top for the Riddler. But I feel like, I always said that the Schumacher movies is like if Schumacher took one of the old, like, 40s Batman comics and just, like, dumped it into a blender and then just splattered it all over a screen.
Yeah.
Like, the dialogue is just cringy at some points.
Yeah. It's bad.
And there's just, like, this over-top, like, the camera movements. Remember the camera movements where it's, like,
oh my God,
swaying into the city and you're getting dizzy because you feel like you're on, like, a roller coaster ride the whole time? But, like, everything the way it was framed, the way it was shot, everything is just so comic book. Like, it doesn't even feel like a movie. It feels like you're just moving through the comic book.
Right.
And through all the hokey nonsense and everything, like the Two-Face's henchmen and all that. And but I mean, like, it's, like I said, it's big, it's colorful, it's over the top. But Jim Carrey as the Riddler is very good.
I don't think the Riddler would have worked in a movie such as the Tim Burton movies.
No, it wouldn't have. And that's a plus to these movies.
Yeah.
Is you can't do the stuff that Tim Burton would have done in these because it
we
just
would
would have
have
been out of place.
We would have had a good Two-Face if, I think.
Yeah.
Or a better Two-Face.
And this movie sets up the rules from the very get-go. As soon as the movie starts, you're like, okay, this is how it's going to be. Because you can't have that opening scene with that guy screaming, "It's boiling acid!"
Was
and
that,
glasses. Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
You can't have that and then have some serious shit happen.
I love this opening.
Oh no!
sequence.
Boiling acid!
My shoes are melting!
I can't remember. I looked up that guy. He's a pretty well-known guy. I forget who he is now. But,
Yeah, I feel like I know him from something else.
but he has other credits. I just forget.
I think that Jim Carrey as the Riddler is half hilarious and half completely terrible. Like half unbearable.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I hate about it? Not to cut you off, but he changes hairstyles. How
Like
does
4
he?
times, yeah.
Yeah. How does he change
No,
hairstyles?
And he has the orange hair, but then he'll be at like a gala and his hair will just be his normal color. And I'm like,
yeah.
What? And then he like goes backstage and it's like shaved off and everything. And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just
Or it's like longer.
yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
like some of his jokes and stuff I thought were funny, and then some of them I thought they were funny because they were so terrible, and then some of them were just so fucking bad that I was like I felt like I was dying because of the things he was saying.
There's a lot of stuff that he
His motivation is good though.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
being the scorned. I mean, he's obviously a psychopath, but him being scorned by his obsessive Bruce Wayne, and then becoming.
Yeah, and then Mark Webb steals this whole origin story for Electro in The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Because Jamie Foxx is essentially playing the Riddler.
But the Riddler's motivation is a lot better than Two-Face's.
Yeah,
it's just
Two-Face
I'm gonna kill Batman.
Yeah, and like Two-Face doesn't even make sense for his own good.
He
Like,
doesn't really have a motive.
No, it's just he just wants to kill Batman.
yeah, like remember in the helicopter whenever Batman like escapes, he escapes and like drops the safe back in, and then
Love that.
and then
way.
and then the pilot's like, uh-oh, and then he's like, boom, boom, and he just like shoots the pilot dead. And I'm like, that's a Joker move. Like, that's something that the Joker would straight up just, like, kill that guy.
That's true.
Oh,
Yeah.
and
He should have flipped a coin for him, though.
Yeah, he should have.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Batman's gadgets and how he should sell all that shit to the military.
Yeah.
Because he's got grappling hooks that are, like, 3 inches long that can hold a safe that weighs, like, 3 tons.
Right. It swings it perfectly back.
Back into the hole.
They do that again in Batman and Robin. I don't even remember, but like the fucking anchor strength of those things has to be massive.
Yeah,
because
all it does is go through like stone.
Yeah,
it should like, rip right out of the stone.
Well, that concrete of the building should also be looked into because
he
the whole thing.
Yeah, holy crap!
It goes through it, but it's still strong enough to hold it.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah, that's really a gadget right there.
It really should have hooked onto like a gargoyle or something.
Yeah,
really.
It should have like wrapped around.
It
like,
should have shot through the freaking concrete of the wall.
Val Kilmer was good as Batman though. Mostly his relationship with that woman was whatever, and then
I think he's a better Bruce Wayne.
He was a good Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
he was a good Bruce Wayne.
And then him just talking to Dick. And everything, he's like, "Oh no, you can't come with me." And they were like, "Well, I'm coming with you." So it's worse in Batman and Robin.
Yeah,
but, like their conflict in this one's just like,
we're just kind of all over the place. But I can't get over every time I watch this movie the scene where they're at the circus, and Two-Face is like, "Maybe one of you guys are Batman."
Yeah.
And then Bruce Wayne just stands up. He's like, "Harvey, I'm Batman."
Which, I mean...
And who didn't hear that?
Well, it's kind of one of those things, though, like in
I
The Dark
understand
Knight,
they're in panic.
where Harvey just goes, "I'm the Batman," and then they take him in, which he's really not, and they know that, but he's doing it to, like, save people. So, like, I'm wondering if everybody was just like...
Kidman's right beside.
Yeah, and she did.
And she just completely...
bat an eye.
I mean, this...
I must not have heard that. He says,
No.
"I'm Batman."
Yeah, he goes,
He's like, "Harvey,
I'm Batman,"
I'm
and
Batman.
he yells it.
He's like yelling it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I completely missed
Yeah,
that.
yeah, because he was trying to save everyone in there. So he's like, Harvey, I'm Batman. But like, no one absolutely no one hears it. And there's people like here and here and here, and nobody hears him.
Like everybody around him should have been like, "He's Batman!
He's Batman!" You know?
Oh wow, I don't know how I missed that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it never has.
And
any
for some reason,
consequences.
that's like the number one thing that bothers me in this movie.
Just thinking about that, it makes me think about how good at least the
no,
Dark
it bothers
Knight
me.
is.
Yeah,
Because whenever Harvey says he's Batman, and then Bruce like T-bones that one guy that's like going to kill him and everything. Oh my god, whatever.
Yeah.
I was thinking.
No, he saves Coleman Reese though.
Yeah. But I was thinking about how you said that it wouldn't work in a Tim Burton, like the Riddler wouldn't work in the Tim Burton one. I bet that Christopher Nolan could do a good Riddler.
Oh yeah,
because that's his is like all like cerebral stuff, like the mindsets of Harvey Dent, Two-Face, and the Joker. How they're like, I mean, he really delves deep into those characters. I feel
like Nolan would have.
But Burton wouldn't have been able to do that.
No.
Nolan could. Burton wouldn't have been able
Nolan
to.
would have done it probably kind of like the Arkham games.
That's what I think.
Where he's just messing with them the whole time, you know, like mentally. You know, you wouldn't even see him probably in person with him until the very end.
One thing that kind of annoys me about the Riddler in this movie is that we only get one riddle from him.
Yeah.
And it's to Bruce Wayne.
At the very end.
Yeah, and then, like, he's just stealing diamonds with Two-Face. There's, like, no riddles involved or anything.
Ooh, look at this nice little diamond. That's not a diamond.
Hey,
I forget the line.
Hey, Two-Face, how do you punch a guy?
I love that. It's so stupid.
Well, it's easy, my dear boy. You just ball up your fist, rear back, let it go.
That's see, that part's pure Jim Carrey comedy gold.
Yeah, it's just it's strange seeing what's his name? Tommy Lee Jones. It's strange seeing Tommy Lee Jones be so fucking goofy.
Yeah.
Because in everything else he's like
Very
such a
serious.
He's the very serious.
He's always playing the straight man.
Yeah,
like,
he's so straight laced.
So
it's so strange to see him like this.
it is like thinking
maniac.
about it, and I'm like, this is the only movie where you see Tommy Lee Jones like really flex that comedic, psychotic like muscle.
Okay, psychotic, yes. Comedy, Man of the House. You ever see it?
I think so. Yeah, I think
I've never seen it.
I thought that was a pretty funny movie. Anyway, so yeah, pretty much nostalgia goggles for me. That's one of the...
I mean, it has a decent story. It flows pretty well.
Oh my god, the dialogue between Batman on the rooftop and Chase.
Yeah, Chase Meridian.
Chase Meridian.
Nicole Kidman's character.
Yeah. My god, was that awful. Like when she turns on it's just one-liners and sexual tension, I guess.
Yeah.
On her part, at least.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just didn't. Maybe I just don't care about the characters. That's why.
I don't like her. That's another.
And Commissioner Gordon is just a non-existent person.
After Gary Oldman, like
yeah,
it's hard to like.
The old Commissioner Gordon was not like.
Was Commissioner Gordon like a prominent figure in the Tim Burton movies?
He was there.
Yeah, he was there. He's played by the same guy the entire way through.
Oh,
same with Alfred.
Yeah,
Alfred and
they're about the only two consistent.
Yeah, they're the only ones who are
okay
consistent through the whole anthology.
They're not. Is the Schumacher one supposed to be in universe with it?
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. They're all supposed to be in continuity.
We're supposed to just ignore that it's a different.
Yeah,
Batman.
wildly different tones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, these four movies are connected.
Yeah,
I mean, I thought that
it's all the same mansion and everything.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that just adds an entire different layer to these movies,
right?
No, that's what I mean. Like,
I didn't know you didn't know that.
No, you look at Tim Burton and Schumacher, and it's literally night and day.
Yeah, it is. Seriously, so radical.
No bat nipples, more bat nipples.
So was that like whenever Bruce was like envisioning Two-Face killing his parents? Was that supposed to be like, oh, he's just implementing whoever because that was in
that
Tim
was
Burton's
in the first
where
Batman.
the Joker was killing his parents.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just like, oh, you're just... I mean, you are obviously crazy, but you're just as crazy as them.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like he just like splices whoever his main nemesis is into that.
Yeah, he basically copies and pastes right there. Boom.
Yeah, because it was almost the same exact shot.
Yeah.
Like him coming through the fog and everything with the gun. Yeah.
They didn't want to use the same footage, so I think they just reshot it.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, so the Riddler's device basically sucks the intelligence from other people and feeds it to him. So he gains like massive intelligence from the first fluke of it happening.
Yeah.
But whenever it's like the entirety of Gotham and like the United States, he should be
able to telepathically
genius. He should be like beyond our capable intelligence.
I think what it does is it makes him more chaotic mentally, or psychotic, whatever the term would be.
Like something broke in him, and that's what.
Like he probably got to a certain point and just couldn't
be any smart. Couldn't become smarter.
I mean, they don't come out and say that, but that's how I always viewed that part of it. And it's not until like Batman defeats him and he just becomes like super crazy. I don't know how to.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like
I'm Batman. That's all then.
Yeah.
But one thing always confused me about his box, even though it's not even close to a box.
Yeah.
It's a blender.
It's either a blender or an hourglass. I don't know.
Filled with packing peanuts.
Yeah.
And green LED lights.
But I don't know if it's for like the moviegoer, but like, does it actually turn people into seeing 3D shit?
I think so.
Is that actually what it does?
Because we see Frank's like vision,
yeah,
where he's like watching the fishing guy, and it's like 3D.
But then the two Two-Face ladies, I don't know what their names.
Yeah,
the one's Demi Moore anyway. Demi or
Drew Barrymore.
Fuck yeah.
I think Sugar and Spice.
Okay,
yeah, that's their name.
And everything nice.
Yeah.
With these combined, never mind. Yeah. So that always confused me because Spice and whatever, they just see like straight cartoons. It's like Looney Tunes.
Mm.
So
yeah, I don't know. I always was under the working impression that it does make them see 3D, but it also just robs their intelligence.
But I didn't know if that was for our viewing to understand it, because like when you see other people do it. Like when Bruce Wayne goes in there, you don't actually see anything pop out. It's more of like a mental image for him.
Right. I think that's
what it records
like
that.
What he was doing, working back. Like after he was stealing his intelligence, he remodified it to scan people's brains and everything.
Okay, so it's probably a different process almost.
Yeah, I think that's what we were supposed to get from it anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
I have in my
Never
notes
discussed
here
that with anybody.
The scene where Robin is kickboxing his laundry is just too fucking much.
Oh my god!
He's like, yeah, it's just like, what the fuck am I watching?
Is anybody else intrigued or I don't even know the word, but I can't get over how much Chris O'Donnell looks like Stephen Amell.
Yes, I was.
I can't unsee it.
Yeah,
like
Chris O'Donnell looks like Stephen Amell.
Oh, you mean a 30-year-old
even
man?
now?
Yeah,
Chris O'Donnell still looks the same.
Yeah,
he's on. Is it NCIS or one of those?
NCIS.
Miami,
Orleans
or LA?
Yeah,
whatever. I don't really watch it. I'll catch it here and there, and I'm like, oh, I like him. He does good in that show, but
him and LL Cool J.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that brings up something else. Dick Grayson does not look under 18 in this movie.
No.
He is very clearly older than
30 at minimum.
God, I would say at least 30.
Yeah, like we're supposed to believe he's a kid, and it's like, come on, that's clearly not.
And also the other thing is like, okay, I can understand it if he gets into the Batcave and like takes the car out, but why does he know martial arts and how to fight and everything?
Yeah, he's
like
just
there's absolutely no explanation.
Yeah,
he's a gymnast, at least like after he finds the Batcave, have Bruce be like, okay, well, if you want to tag along with me, we're gonna have to train, and like do something.
And the whole time,
training
Bruce is
montage.
like, "No, you're not doing that."
Yeah.
So
and then he just shows up and just kicks the shit out of people for
it's
fun.
like Alfred was training him in the background.
Yeah.
And, because he's all behind, Dick becoming a hero.
He's behind everyone becoming a hero, apparently.
I feel like this might have happened in one of the other 3 movies, but when he stumbles into the Batcave, an alarm goes off. Intruder alert.
Uh-huh.
Why does everything turn on?
Yeah.
Yeah, why does the Batmobile just like raise up like, hey, here it is.
Here it is. Here you go.
I think.
Oh, you want the computer on?
I think it was because Alfred went
Take
down and was kind of starting everything up.
That could be.
But yeah, it is strange that it's like, oh, intruder. Here's the Batmobile.
Here's the Bat symbol
So
on everything.
Yeah.
Like if nothing would have turned on, it would have probably just looked like a cave.
Yeah. Yeah,
with a couple of monitors. I don't know, maybe they
you
just
would
watch
just
TV
like,
down there.
Yeah.
Is this Bruce's porn cave?
Right. No, you're probably right, because Alfred he clearly wanted him to follow him in there.
Yeah.
Because he's like, hey Dick, where you at? Master Grayson or whatever. And then
he's like, oh, you're up there. Okay.
Well, okay, cool. I'm not in this door. You don't know what the hell's behind it.
Yeah.
So I guess you're probably right. He probably started all the shit up anyway.
Yeah, because
it was probably just cut weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Alfred is so weird, like enabling. Like he's enabling Dick to become a superhero, and then later on his niece to become Batwoman. But we'll get to that shortly.
That's where the real fun's gonna be.
This is where the fun begins.
I just want to add to Seal's Kiss from a Rose was in this movie. Why was it not in the next movie? That would have made a hell of a lot more sense.
Was it during the film at all?
No, it wasn't. It was just in the credits.
I don't think so.
That's it.
So strange.
Well, that's like, and not the. There's a song that plays at the end of the next one too.
This is like a Smashing Pumpkins song or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, there's like a slow one that plays after that.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, what is this? Like, thank God this wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, we watched the whole way through the credits, and I was like, Seal! I was like, what?
It's so strange.
Yeah.
But I kept thinking about it, and I'm like, why wasn't this in the next one, where it would have made sense?
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Well, I have nothing more to say about this movie.
Yeah, I mean,
I really don't either. It's a fine movie. If you're a fan of Batman, you have to watch it.
Well, you have to go through all of them.
Yeah, you have to watch every Batman movie to understand the rise and fall of the character through film.
You can't appreciate the sunny days without the rainy days.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'll start with rating because mine's going to be way different than all of yours.
Okay.
Maybe not. I don't know. As a film, I'd probably just have to go probably right in the middle, 5 out of 10. That's from a film perspective. I like it.
Taking off the nostalgia goggles for
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree. If like I said, I honestly think that if they played Two-Face more, like at the end, I feel like it would have been a far better movie.
Yeah.
Like
with all these points you guys have brought up, that probably is why I'm like, yeah, I just decided to rate it.
Yeah. I'm gonna rate it 5 out of 5 as well, but I feel like it had a lot of potential. It's just
it does.
The goofiness isn't even that bad in this one for me. Like half of it I can take it or leave it, but for the most part, I do enjoy the movie. But yeah, I'm really hung up on them not doing Two-Face well.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit it with 5 too. Just because, like I said, I love Tim Burton's first 2, and this is totally different than the prior 2. And I just feel like Tim Burton. All right, so Tim Burton produced this, right? And he was just like, yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, sure.
Like, and I'm just like, what? I'm like,
I don't know the specifics, but wasn't he just over Batman?
Yeah.
For some reason, I forget why.
Yeah, I think he was just kind of like, well, whatever. Like, but I'm
it
like,
might have been that like Keaton was like, I'm not coming back.
yeah,
I think that's where Tim Burton was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think he just kind of gave up.
I
the
heard
reins.
that somewhere.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
And I don't know, what was it? Did it have something to do with Schumacher that he wasn't going to come back if Schumacher was?
No, because I think Tim Burton was supposed to do the third one.
Yeah,
again,
he was.
I'm not sure, but something with Keaton, he was like, there's nothing more to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a fine movie. You should watch it, but yeah, 5. A 5 is all I could. And like I said at the beginning, I loved this movie like 8 years ago.
Yeah,
I loved this movie, and now I'm just kind of like, it's all right.
I mean, again, with the nostalgia goggles on, like, I still really enjoyed watching this movie.
Oh, I mean, I would watch it. Like, if it popped on TV, I'd be like, hell, I'll watch this.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But I mean, like, overall,
it's right
like,
in the middle.
Critically rating it, I'm like, it's down the middle. It could be worse. It could be better.
It honestly should be probably kind of surprised we even gave it a 5.
Yeah.
People would probably, you know.
We're being generous here.
I guess.
I think it's a perfectly adequate movie.
It is adequate. That's,
All right.
That's a good way to put it.
Well, I guess I'll take the next one.
All right, thank God. I can't read.
Batman and Robin try and keep their relationship together, even though they have to stop Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy from taking over Gotham City. So that's just a short and sweet of it. And boy howdy, is it something.
You read that very nice.
So
all right, everybody chill. All right.
I think that Arnold is a pretty decent Mr. Freeze.
I think that's what I like about this movie.
That's like the only thing I like about this movie is Arnold.
Half of his one-liners make no fucking sense.
No.
Like, he just says it and it's like, what? It doesn't make sense.
But the guy's like, please have mercy. And he's like, mercy? And he's like, I'm sorry, but the conditions have left me cold to its touch. And he like freezes.
They're like really forcing
like, oh my God.
They're seriously forcing it sometimes.
My favorite is, what killed the dinosaurs?
The Ice Age.
The Ice Age.
Oh, and the George Clooney doing his Fred Flintstone down the back of the goddamn dinosaur.
I think my favorite one-liner
is just missing the
but I know I said it when we watched it.
My favorite is, I hate it when they talk during the movie. That's
my
favorite
freezes
bit. But,
no, like Arnold is the one-liner guy.
Yeah,
it's like so. His like
if the rest of the movie wasn't bad,
the
like,
hockey shit.
Yeah, the hockey henchman is just like that. Like
that was just hokey and stupid.
You mentioned at the beginning of Batman Forever, you're like, okay, I know what this is. I'm in for the ride. It's not going to be serious, but this. Bullshit.
I'm just like, you can't take the rest of it seriously at all.
Here's my analysis on the opening of this movie. Batman gets a call to go to this place. Gordon is on his like whatever screen thing.
Yeah, like a 2-inch screen.
Hey, it looks like this new guy calling himself Mr. Freeze is here. So when they get there, why do they have skates?
Yeah. Yeah, why?
He doesn't know who Freeze is yet.
No, yeah, we were talking about that. We're like, why do they have built-in skates?
Yeah.
Like, how do they know?
The physics are completely jumbled in this, too. Like, Mr. Freeze throws Robin, and then he goes like, whoa, like, even further back, like, 30 feet. It's like, how the fuck did that happen?
Oh, and then the guy, like, remember Freeze gets his gun stuck, like, on top of something, and he grabs, like, the security guard and throws him up there to, like, dislodge it.
Before you even talk about that, the way the gun gets lodged up there.
Yeah, it, like, lands and stays perfectly still. And it's, like, on, like, top of, like, a huge, like, fertility idol. Like, it's rounded, so it should
nothing there to hold it up.
No, and it just hits it, it's like, it just glues there.
I mean,
but like it's comically hilarious.
I'm totally fine.
Just grabs people and just eats them.
I'm totally fine with that part to get it down. But when it lands up there, it's like, what was that?
Because the shot almost looks like they threw it up there and then like paused the frame and just used that frame.
It kind of looks like it's in reverse. Like you put it up there and they let it fall down.
Yeah,
is what it looks like.
Yeah, it almost does look like that.
Yeah.
because like I looked at that and I was like, that's weird. I'm like, why did that happen? But I mean, there's so much shit in this movie.
This is like beyond
outland. Oh, it is camp in its purest form. Like you cannot sit down and watch this and go, this is going to be the best Batman movie ever. This is going to be serious and everything. Because the minute that you sit down, you're going to be like, nope, and just get up and walk.
This is one of those times where I think about time travel. I'm like, I kind of want to be in the first viewing of this movie.
This is the...
I can't imagine what people were thinking.
Right? This is the infamous movie with the Bat MasterCard.
And I don't go anywhere without it.
Is this the big... Like, there were bat nipples in that last one.
Yes.
Right? Okay, yeah.
Very subtle ones.
Yeah, these ones
are like full detail.
Yeah, you like, see the full reveal shot of...
Oh, yeah.
Batman's bat.
I mean, that's one thing, yeah.
You get ass shot, you get some...
crotch shot.
Yep.
But, yeah,
nipples, so all of that.
So... this just made me think of the scene where Poison Ivy, uses her pheromones on them. Batman's in a relationship with some woman, and he's like willing to pay like $8 million to go on a date with Poison Ivy.
No, he's influenced by that.
Well, yeah, but it's like, what the fuck?
So are those other men, probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so.
Yeah.
Everything about this.
This whole movie is like really odd. And
I have in my notes here, Batman's apparently the strongest man alive because he just lifts up Robin Icicle.
Oh yeah, yeah. He picks up like a 225-pound like icicle that should weigh like 300 pounds now, and then just like casually lowers it like into the water.
But that's actually not as weird as you might think, because in like the Arkham games, he'll do that with guys. Like, he'll just pick up henchmen.
Oh, yeah, but look at the size of him in those games. He's enormous. True. Yeah. Like, he's like Ben Affleck Batman size.
Yeah. He's like he's a huge...
George Clooney is not that big.
That's true.
George Clooney ain't picking up shit with one arm.
Yeah. I have no qualms with Batman being strong enough to lift a human, by their throat or whatever.
No.
But you look like George Clooney...
you have to compensate for it. You have to have somebody like... Look at The Dark Knight Returns, like the way Frank Miller drew Batman, where he's like the mountain from Game of Thrones, except shorter, but he's just like enormous.
That begs the question, how do people not recognize that Bruce Wayne is this walking beefcake, and they're like, he's probably Batman.
Yeah. They're like, who has money and who beats the shit out of people for fun?
So I don't have this problem with any other Batman. Like, I can tell who, like,
Clooney is not the best.
You can tell Keaton is behind the mask. You can tell when Kilmer is. But, like, it is dead obvious that this is George Clooney behind the cowl. Like, it's... Yeah. He just has that face that you can't...
Yeah, it's so recognizable.
And he's also the worst.
Oh, yeah.
By far.
Yeah, he is.
Because he's just there.
Yeah.
He's playing George Clooney.
He literally just phones it in. Like, he's just like, I'm George Clooney. And what's funny, I said to Sean, he's not even top billed. Arnold Schwarzenegger is top billed in this movie.
And rightfully so.
You're absolutely right. He deserves all the credit.
He doesn't even really play that good of a Bruce Wayne either.
No. He's just
he's just George Clooney.
Yeah.
George Clooney has come out and apologized for playing Batman, though.
That's good.
Yeah, he's in a movie called Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and he apologizes for being in Batman and Robin.
Yeah, that movie. I never did see that movie.
Let's talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze for a minute. I'm a big fan of Arnold.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Freeze is the only villain, and I'll say this, he is the only villain of these two movies where his motivations are actually understandable. And you actually kind of feel for the character.
Is always good.
I said to Sean, I'm like, he's like the Thanos of the Schumacher universe. Like, he's a bad guy, but you feel for him,
right?
Because of what he went through.
His life, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, all right, Freeze is the best. After rewatching it, I think Freeze is the best villain out of the 5 that we get in these two movies.
Oh my god, there is 5.
Yeah. We're going to talk about him. Don't worry, because I'm pissed about this.
I forget that he's even in it.
Yeah.
half the time.
But yeah, Schwarzenegger's very good, and he went full Tin Man. He let them paint him up, put contacts in.
Yeah,
he had glowing teeth and shit. I mean, he went all out. He was like, he probably came in and was like, do whatever.
We don't have to jump to the end specifically, but like that end shot where he's like, he uses his power to do whatever. I honestly forget already, but like he's warming up, so like he looks really weird.
Yeah.
And his eyes are really weird.
That's probably when he's in the prison, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna escape."
No, it's at the end when he's in the sunlight. I forget.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's at the end when he gives the stuff to Bruce.
Right, to Bruce, yeah.
And but he has like the red eyes and everything because his suit's damaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, take 2 of these and call me in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't think he doesn't die, does he?
No, he doesn't die because Bruce Wayne puts him in Arkham and he gives him Nora to, experiment on,
and he gives him the lab at Arkham so he can continue his research.
Yeah,
so I mean, he gets a pretty good deal out of it.
Yeah, because they saved Nora after Poison Ivy tried to kill her.
Well, yeah, he almost has a redemption arc, really.
Yeah.
Like,
well, he saves Alfred.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that was something.
That's probably a soft spot for him too, though. Yeah. Whatever it is, Cronenberg disease that.
No, McGregor's.
McGregor's
Cronenberg disease.
It's like, oh, you have somebody
Alfred
that's
wasn't turning into the Fly, for Christ's sake.
The Conor McGregor syndrome.
Yeah. They're like, here you go.
So we have Schwarzenegger, who's great, and then we have another villain who should have been a lot better in this movie, and he was not, because apparently Schumacher and Burton had no idea who this character was or what to do with him.
What? Okay, so this is 1997.
Yes.
I don't know if we stated that. Where do we know where the character of Bane was at?
Nightfall.
Okay.
Nightfall was written...
Like, how long has Bane been around at this time?
Since the 80s. I think Nightfall was written in, mid-80s, I think?
Okay, I didn't know how fresh he was.
Let me lay this out for you. Bane is insanely smart. He lived in a prison since he was a little kid, and he would get into fights, and he'd get tossed in the hole. And in the hole would fill up with water every night because the drainage system led out to the coast, and the tides would come in. Every night, he had to hold himself up by the grate of his cell to keep from drowning for hours at night, holding himself up. And all he would do was get books from the prison library and read, and he would do push-ups and pull-ups and all that, so he became stronger physically and mentally. And then when the prison break happens, he goes to Gotham to take on Batman. So this is a villain who is mentally and physically the equal to Bruce Wayne. And all we get is a dumb fucking giant who places bombs and can only say one-word things. It pisses me off because I love Bane and they did not do anything good with him.
I'm not at all standing up for this portrayal of Bane. But the Venom does eventually take away his intelligence.
Yeah.
In like other media.
Oh, yeah. But, like in the Arkham game.
Right.
Because when he gets tight.
Yeah, because he knows he's Bruce Wayne in the Arkham game.
Yeah.
In Arkham Origins, because I just played it. And the Venom or the whatever they call it.
Titan, I think.
Yeah, Titan.
Yeah.
This one was Venom.
Yeah, this one was Venom.
Which is what he originally has. Yeah. And he has the wrist thing that he can turn it up and Ben 10 his way into roid rage or whatever.
Yeah.
But
bomb.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not specifically the fact that he's dumb, but like. They should have portrayed him smart at some point.
Yeah. The base version was just like some
scrawny
junkie. Anyway, they're like,
and
his
then they
volunteer subject.
Yeah,
and he looked fucking gross too. Yeah. Like the morphing scene was awful, terrible CG. But I couldn't even tell if like his arms and like was he wearing a suit or was it?
No, he was an actual bodybuilder.
Okay,
the guy who played Bane. Yeah,
he was a professional wrestler.
He looked gangrenous.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm not saying like his body is fake, but like his green skin with like black veins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like-
that was all painted on.
Yeah.
Like, that looked terrible.
But yeah,
like,
what-
not like
what was his
terrible in a
name?
bad like.
I was
in a
gonna look
bad
it
way.
up because I did want to. I mean, this is very old news.
I mean, the guy was big enough to be Bane.
yeah.
But had they directed him to be intelligent and a well-written character, it would have been better. You could have had him instead of Poison Ivy as the secondary villain if he was done well.
Yeah, Poison Ivy is just who gives a fuck about her.
Now, I will say this: out of all the interpretations of Bane, as this one is the closest resembling the comic Bane.
Right.
But it's the portrayal of the character was awful. He looks the most like him because Bane does wear a luchador mask because the prison was in South America.
Oh yeah, they just threw the mask on him for whatever
for
reason.
fun.
They
Yeah,
like held him in place and it fed him the venom. The actor's name was Robert Swenson.
Did he have a nickname?
He had ring names for wrestling. Jeep Swenson.
Jeep. That
Jeep
was
Swenson.
it. Remember, Jeep was because I said Jeep Swenson.
Jeep the Mercenary is another name. Anyway, oddly enough, not to go into side tangent on wrestling, but there was a good span of 20 years where like we lost a bunch of wrestlers just super early because like back in the day, like you could use steroids and whatever the hell you wanted to, any body
Freely,
enhancement.
yeah.
So he passed away at age 40, which was he passed away on August 18th of 97. So it was right
after
this
released.
movie.
Wow.
So
That's insane.
yeah, I did want to mention that. Just I don't know. I like wrestling.
Actually, that's a nice transition because speaking of another wrestling figurehead,
yes,
he's in this movie.
Yes,
the,
he's not the
cell guard, Jesse the Bond.
Never
Ventura.
noticed it until like
And he doesn't even look like him. You listen to the voice and you're like, oh, that's Jesse Ventura.
right.
But
Yeah, he's got
like a
has that
mohawk
voice.
and a goatee and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very odd.
And he had more lines than I thought.
Yeah.
Like he talked a lot, and I was like, wow. I was like, I forgot
whole
Jesse
scene-
Ventura had
the whole
lines
scene.
in this.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our third villain, who's actually our secondary villain, but I wanted to go on my Bane rant there for a little bit. Uma
Poison
Thurman as Poison Ivy.
The only reason she exists is to sow this conflict between Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, that's the worst part of the movie.
I want to like it because Uma Thurman's a very attractive woman.
Remember when she's like sexy dancing in the giant gorilla costume and everyone's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, oh, is that Mr.
Bane?
Freeze?
Oh.
Could you imagine Arnold being in his power suit and then also this gorilla costume? He'd be like
Dancing.
sweating, be like, "Ugh."
What killed the gorillas?
Jesus.
Yeah, Arnold's
No, yeah, she has no driving force.
No.
Arnold is the thing driving the movie.
Yeah, she wants to just like get
She wants to take
humans off
revenge on the
planet.
Earth.
Yeah, she wants to make sure that the planet doesn't die. Which I mean, it's in theory that's a good saving the planet or whatever. But she's just gonna kill everyone else.
It just wasn't portrayed good.
No, it was bad, and I think pretty much everything about her's bad.
Yeah.
She's clearly not the worst part of the movie, but it's like.
Are we in agreement that the worst part of this movie is George Clooney?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'd say George Clooney and Chris O'Donnell too. I mean,
I think
he's
Chris
just
O'Donnell
so bad.
Actually, you know what? Alicia Silverstone is better than Chris O'Donnell in this movie, if I'm being
Oh,
honest.
and she doesn't have a fucking English accent at all.
No.
And she's supposed to go to like Oxbridge.
Oxenbridge.
Yeah, in England, and she's
I mean, she could have been
Alfred's.
raised in the States.
yeah, but
Yeah,
she's going to
but-
school in England.
And yeah, you'd probably pick it up some, but
I was just like, you're related to Alfred, and
I hate that they still call her Barbara.
yeah.
She still has the name Barbara.
Yeah, which she was so shoehorned into this.
Yeah.
And Alfred enabling her to become Bat.
Yeah, where he's like, I took the liberty of making a suit for you. And it's like, you psychopath. Like, he's just like, oh, my niece is coming, better prepare a suit, because she'll find the Batcave.
Oh, yeah, and her, like, so shallow reasoning for being there. She's like, I'm an epic computer hacker. I'll turn off the big ice machine.
Yeah, because
bloop.
Yeah, because at the end, we were watching it, and at the end, Clooney's like, well, that would take a computer genius. And I was like, wait, she's going to do the thing, because she went for computer science, and then she just jumps in.
And she hacked Uncle Alfred's computer.
Yeah.
Damn, I must have really checked out, because I forgot all that shit.
Oh, yeah. No. Like, every time I watch this movie, like, in the third act, I'm like, I don't
remember much of the third act already.
I remember there's the observatory, and
I remember
he
the
uses
big
it to become the giant
telescope.
Yeah, he uses the telescope to become the giant ice ray and all that.
I mean, I'll hand it to the story. Everything comes back into play. Like, Bruce donating that humongous telescope so that they can look at the satellites from anywhere, and then, freezing the world using that. I was like, well, at least everything's set up. Yeah, thawing the world. Everything's set up and, paid off at least. But I just don't fucking care.
Yeah. Yeah, by the third act, I'm like, I do not.
The only reason I'd ever watch this movie again is just because of Arnold.
Yeah, that's it. Arnold is the best part of this movie. Arnold gave it his all, and it shows. Like, everyone else is just like...
He either gave it his all, or he gave nothing, and it just turned out awesome.
But see, I feel like he definitely did give it a lot of... Like, he gave a lot, just because you could tell by some of the things...
He might have been a Batman fan. He's like, hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
even in the endearing scenes, he's like really acting.
Yeah.
He's like really trying.
No, yeah.
It's I mean, he's not the best actor, but he's better than everyone else in this movie. It's effective.
Yeah, this might have some of his best acting.
Yeah.
Like,
well, no, Aftermath is still, I think, one of his better.
Oh, I've never seen that one.
More of his things coming out now, he's good.
He's trying to be more serious.
Yeah, but I mean, definitely back then, this was probably the best thing he's ever done.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, before this, he was really just the meathead action guy.
T2 is still really good.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
I like how they have the two-time Paralympic athlete. Or whatever.
Decathlete, because he's enormous. Like he's like, oh, he's a two-time Olympic decathlete. I'm like, oh, good. Thanks for adding that in. Wouldn't have guessed that the man who weighs 230 pounds could have possibly have been an absolute
monster of a human being. I'd have to give him a reason for being that big.
Well, I mean, it's like The Rock.
Yeah.
In any movie The Rock's in, they're like, oh, he's a zoologist. And he's like, I did 3 tours in Afghanistan. It's like, that explains the roids. Like, and you're just like, okay, thank you. Like, it's anytime that The Rock is, like, in something, they have to throw something in there because everybody's going to be like, why does this monster spend time with animals? Like, I'm curious.
Yeah. So what was his reasoning for being buff in the Skyscraper movie?
He was a military guy.
Yeah,
he was like blown off.
Okay. Yeah, he was like a anti-terrorist division something, but
and he goes like blown off.
Yeah,
like a grenade or something.
Yeah. But then his security after that.
But that's the first one that came to my mind. I don't know.
I mean, anytime you have an actor that's like that big, you have to write something into the story where it makes sense, so the audience isn't like, what?
Yeah.
You know, the Rock playing like a thermonuclear engineer or something. They're like, I don't think so.
There's just so much shit in this movie that I don't care about. Like, this whole it's long. It needs to be short.
It's very long.
I think that both of these movies could have been shortened by a half hour. I think it would have greatly improved the first movie.
Yeah.
And this one, I think it would have salvaged it.
You could have cut out you could have cut out sugar and spice in the last movie entirely.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have made a difference. I think somebody owed Drew Barrymore a favor or something, and they're like, well, you gotta add somebody else in.
And then there's like a bike racing scene in this movie, or this one I don't fucking care about. And then all this other shit.
Barbara she steals one of the bikes, and then Dick notices it.
You could have cut her out of the movie entirely, and nothing would have happened.
Delete.
Well, she had to come in to hack.
Yeah, she had to be the hacker.
Oh yeah, we couldn't save the world with that.
she had to come in and be like, I'm in.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm way ahead of you.
Yeah, way ahead of you.
Why the hell couldn't it just been Barbara Gordon?
Because Commissioner Gordon was asleep the whole movie.
He actually did something in this movie. He stopped everybody from freezing to death because he flipped the switch.
Yeah, but he also gave Uma Thurman the keys to the police station so she could go up and fuck with the bat signal and turn it into a Robin signal. Which, by the way, he's like, Robin comes out and he's like, it's a Robin signal, not a bat signal. And Bruce should be like, hey, you psychopath. Do you not think somebody messed with it? Like, you really go walk into a trap, dipshit?
Right. We didn't talk about how this movie opens.
I forget what the opening
me
is,
too.
to be honest.
Isn't it just they jump right into the...
They're
suiting up, right?
Yeah, they're suiting up and there's dialogue. And Robin's like,
oh, chicks dig the car.
I need a car.
Yeah.
And Batman's like, I forget what he says, but he's like, why? He's like, chicks dig the car.
Yeah, it's stupid dialogue.
Chicks dig the car.
Yeah.
Chicks dig your motorcycle. What?
Which also, Batman says that in the last one to Chase Meridian. He's like, it's the car, right? Chicks dig the car.
Yeah.
Like, and it just comes back and it sounds so stupid. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The opening dialogue to the last one wasn't any better either. Do I need to keep the supper warm? No, get drive-through.
Oh, yeah.
Kilmer does mask his a little bit.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
Yeah.
But he also, like, when he talks to Chase, he doesn't.
Yeah.
And then he's standing there talking to Chase in other scenes, and I'm like, this woman's a psychologist.
Right.
And she can't be like, he sounds
and not
familiar.
to go back to that movie, because we're clearly done with it, but there's a part where Bruce is in her office or whatever. I think it was after they already went on a date. It was like the second time they're going somewhere. And he's like giving all these hints about him being Batman. And they're completely obvious. And anyway, but
yeah, it's Batman is bad at keeping his identity secret, but everyone else is too fucking stupid to figure it out.
Yeah. I don't even know what... There's probably so much we could tear apart, and there's just so much
in this movie. Absolutely,
that's what I'm saying. There's so much.
I don't want to be sitting here for another hour just tearing this thing down, because I know we could be. Like
I can't think of anything specifically that.
Yeah, it's just like it's just like all so bad that it's just like mush in my brain.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean the fact that we're not even that we kind of glazed over Uma Thurman's character. We're just like don't even bother.
Yeah, it's so bad that I have nothing to say about Poison Ivy.
No, I really don't. I really don't either. I mean, she's hot, but I mean, like that's about it. She's there to be the attractive woman in the movie.
Like I said, the only reason she's there is to sow a divide between Batman and Robin, and it's fucking terrible. Everything about that whole
on
story.
top of them already being at arms.
There was a nice little thing though, where Robin is completely like oblivious the whole movie, and he's like, "She wants me," blah 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 blah, and then he finally like meets up with her, and then he has the fake lips on, and you got no hint that he was going to go that route.
Yeah,
and tricks her. And I was like, okay, that's one nice thing, because I did not see him being smart enough to actually overcome that and do away with that. That's the only thing in this movie where I was like, yeah, that's that's good writing right there.
Yeah.
Everything else was just kind of not good.
Yeah, it's just bad.
I have nothing else to say about this.
Yeah, neither do I. That's about all I got.
I've been tossing two numbers up in my head. If only I had a coin to flip to decide which one.
Here, you're unlocked. I got a quarter.
Okay.
Got that new COVID-19 quarter.
All right, you can call it.
Yeah, I know what I want.
You know, or...
Yeah. Right,
yeah,
what was it?
Head's gone.
Heads.
2 out of 10.
All right.
So there we are. 2 out of 10.
I am going to give this a 3.5. And I'm giving it the half because of Arnold Schwarzenegger, because he kind of saves this.
He's quite literally the only reason there's 2. He's worth 2 points out of 10.
Yeah.
The rest of the movie is irredeemable.
It's pretty much true. I mean, you can tell this is a movie they spent a lot of time on and everything. And I'm not at all bashing anybody who
they probably really didn't spend a lot of time though. It's only 2 years.
Like, the miniature work and everything was really good on it.
Yeah.
Like, the set building and
Gotham does.
was
I mean,
well
when it looks real,
yeah,
it does
not
look good.
CGI'd.
But there's so
So
much
I thought
CGI
Gotham
bullshit.
looked worse in this one to be
It
honest.
does look worse.
It does
at points, but there are some of it that it still looks pretty good.
Like it still looks like Gotham, but it's like Gotham on crack.
Oh, I was telling
like the
Aaron,
statues.
it's
and
like
stuff.
it's like 3 miles in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that Spider-Man game where you can't touch the ground.
No,
Yeah.
I actually said when she goes to
does
the
look
bike
like that.
race and she like goes through it, there's like all these buildings that are like decayed and everything. I went, downtown Gotham looks strangely like Baghdad. Like, but it does. Like, it looks like a war zone.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell happened here?
I wonder
But,
if that's
no,
supposed to be a reference to all the Batman shenanigans.
I don't know.
Maybe. But yeah, honestly, it's a 3.5 for me. Schwarzenegger's the only thing that saves it.
I'm split between 2 and 3. 2.5.
There you go. Fair enough. Right down the middle.
Yeah. And like Sean said, that's probably primarily just
Arnold.
That's really all it is.
Like, even I can't get appreciation out of this movie.
No. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever watch this movie again. Unless I'm forced
I
to.
had a much better viewing when I took Arnold seriously this time, where I was like, he's giving it his all. He's doing a good job. The first time I ever watched this movie, I was like, oh my god. Like, everything else was just terrible, and Arnold just kind of fell into that snowball of awful, and I just kind of lumped that in. But after rewatching it, damn, Arnold's good in this. Arnold saves this a little bit. Like, not much, because there's only so much one man can do. But
Yeah.
that's my...
Oh, man.
Well, glad that's over.
Yep.
Not the first part. I actually enjoyed that one, but this one's just...
Yeah, Batman Forever is still good. Like I said, I gave that one a 5, and I gave Batman and Robin a 3.5.
Well, we have another recommendation on deck.
We do, and it's a surprising transition.
All right.
Since we just got done saying how good of an actor Arnold Schwarzenegger is in this movie, I have picked 2 movies that I have never watched that I want to give a shot.
I probably haven't seen them either.
Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer.
All right.
Never have I watched them, and Conan the Barbarian is apparently Arnold's first breakthrough role as an actor. So it has James Earl Jones, Mako is a character. He's in the second one.
Right.
But it's based on the, I think the guy's name's Howard, who originally wrote Conan in like 1932. It's all based on his books and short stories. But they're apparently pretty good, and I've never watched them, and I would like to watch them.
Are they available on streaming?
You're in luck. I ordered the Blu-rays.
Okay.
They'll be in tomorrow.
Okay. Well, that'll be it then.
That'll be it.
All right. That's another one down. Thank you guys for watching or listening to our discussion about Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. We enjoyed the first part.
Yes, not so much the second.
If you don't want to be spoiled for Conan the Barbarian and what's
Conan the Destroyer.
Conan the Destroyer for our next episode, make sure to watch those before our next episode is out. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Laters.
Oh, I was going to say that.